Dave and I really enjoy coming down here and walking up this and other cool places similar. It is November 1st, and we are in the process of moving out of the camper and into a little house that we are renting for the month of November. Today, it's about, I don't know, probably noon, and I'm inside the camper, and we're unloading everything. So Dave is kind of coming to the tailgate back here, and I am putting everything out there, and we're just taking it into the house. It's in complete disarray in there right now. It's very warm. I'm sweating like crazy right now. So yeah, that's the big news today. Already got everything out of the cooler. Yeah, we're about 90% there. We got some stuff in the front of the truck yet to go, but mostly it's getting emptied out in here. Surprising how much stuff is in here, you forget.
This isn't really heavy, but bulky.
I understand. Turning around. Yeah, so here's all of our stuff from in the camper. Gonna have to, I'll be working all day long just to get everything moved in here. We'll put all of those things in that same bag. It's like the designated truck camper apparatus.
I'm gonna have to choke up the front straps, readjust the little nuts. Is there a 15/16 wrench in there?
No. Lay that stuff down there. Keep it all together. Ready to try to get the jacks out of there? We'll go on this side first.
seem like I should fit on.
Clicked on something.
Hooked on the hook.
Put your big arm in there. It's a potential finger smashing operation.
Well, I'm pulling until you let go on.
Right now. So. Yay! Going for a ride, first ride in the truck without the camper on it. This Baja trip in Mulane. We're driving down towards the other side of the river area, and down here is the Hotel Serenidad, which we stayed at the very first time that we came to Baja. We were in a car, so we were staying in hotels.
You stayed here with Derby.
Yeah, once, and then I'd never do that again.
They didn't have hot water.
They didn't have the greatest RV thing.
It wasn't kept.
The landing strip over here that I'm showing right now, the Hula Airport.
It's such a cool place it is.
There's a car there at one of the places. It's looking a little rough though, I have to say.
Such a cool place. Hotel Serenidad. Really?
They're a boat launch, I guess. Wow, look at that big boat.
Wow, that's like the one that they got Jaws in. There's a boat launch here. Also. It's a little nicer though over there.
That must be his thing.
It's quite the thing, huh? It's
Made homemade pontoon.
What'd you do? Hope we went got stuck.
I doubt it. Hello, internet friends. It is May 28th, 2022. I wanted to insert this into the footage that you've been watching, which is obviously from the time during which Dave and I were in Mexico. And for the foreseeable future, I will be continuing to upload content from our time in Mexico. But I wanted to update you and give you a more recent view of where we are and what's been going on with us, because I know that there's some of you who follow our story and you've been here for a while watching, and I appreciate that. I watch various YouTube channels, and you get this feeling of almost developing a friendship and a sort of relationship and community towards these channels. We are back in Texas at our property and have been for about 2 months, during which time we've been busy. There are maintenance things, upkeep of our property that we try to work on during our time here. Both of our vehicles needed maintenance, and thankfully we are almost done with all of that. We had some delays. We try to do most of the work on our vehicles ourselves for practical reasons. It saves us a lot of money. We've got the tools and the skills to do it, so we do. But this most recent batch of things that we needed to do, we found ourselves encountering difficulty in getting some of the supplies that we needed. And I am sure that a lot of you have noticed and are aware of things happening in the world, one of which is that there's supply chain problems, and it seems like that is having an effect on all sorts of products, and we witnessed this ourselves. But anyway, so that's been going on. I have planted a small herb garden, and it's doing pretty well, even in spite of the fact that ever since we have been back in Texas, it has been an extreme drought. The spring was practically non-existent. It looks like the end of summer around here. Like the grass, the fields, nothing really got green. There were very few wildflowers. Okay, this is May, and this is what it looks like, and it was never green. Normally in the spring in Texas, all of this field and everything, it would be green. There would be a lot of green grass in the ditch. There just isn't this year. A lot of these pastures and stuff are getting down to almost where if they've got cattle or goats or sheep on them, they're getting down to almost dirt. So that was kind of a bummer that, to be in this situation. It's all smoke. The wind has been blowing like crazy, and it's very hot, it's very drying. It's not good for the vegetation, and to see the results of all that is it's disheartening. It's hard to take. Even so, like, I've been watering the plants, and I've created like little wind shelters for them, so they are hanging on. They're not doing as good as they would be doing if the conditions were more optimal, but I'm doing the best that I can. We have used our time here also to refresh our supplies on certain things that we needed. It is definitely easier to acquire consumer goods in the United States than it is in Mexico. This is the land of consumption. I mean, we must be the champions of the earth for that. It's a shopping maniac's paradise, and we are by no means shopping maniacs. The things that we buy are things that we feel we really need, and we carefully consider those items. But yeah, it's just easier. It's easier to acquire things up here. There's a greater variety. Not that, you can get things in Mexico as well, but it's just the supply is not as diverse. Getting things shipped to you is not as easy as it is in the United States. So I just start making a list anytime that we're away like that of things that I know I want to get. It allows me the opportunity and the time to research them so that hopefully I get the best prices, the best quality items, that sort of thing. So when we get back here, I start going through that list and making purchases. As I mentioned before, there are things happening in the world that do not indicate we are on a very optimistic or good path. I am a very curious person, and I have been my entire life. I think that one of the things that would really detrimentally affect my ability to have happiness would be if people disallowed me from stimulating myself with information. Like, I love to read books, websites, podcasts, watch videos on learning about all manner of subjects. And I'm very interested in what is happening in the world, what is going on with humanity and society. So I spend a lot of time looking at this stuff, and from my point of view, in the amount of time that I spend and all of the sources of information that I consume, my prognosis is that things are on a downward trajectory, and I think that the negative aspects are going to be increasing exponentially as we go forward. In fact, I have seen this happen, and I have felt this way since before COVID. So it's not as though that event was what really caused me to accelerate my ideas in that. This started for me probably in about 2006. Unfortunately, my ideas and expectations have been exceeded, really, for how I thought things were going to go with humanity. So that being said, what am I doing about it? What do I think that I can do? Because it's kind of frustrating and exasperating to see all of this unfolding and feel like you can't do anything about it, which most of it you can't. I don't think there's any avoidance. We're not going to be able to avoid what's coming. We're going to have to just go through it, whatever it turns out to be, however bad it turns out to get. So instead of just looking around and feeling, hopeless and helpless about it all, you have to try to look for ways in areas where you can do something. So what are we doing? We are prepping. This is something, the way that we kind of live our lives anyway for years and years. And I come from people who not that many generations ago were living without electricity and had no indoor plumbing, things of that nature. And that was just a way of life for people like that. People had more of a sense of their own responsibility, their extreme responsibility for themselves. So at an early age, I was taught things about that as being a life philosophy, and I've held on to it regardless of how convenient the world around me has seemed to be. I think that our systems are very, very fragile, and they can collapse big time at any moment. So prepping, gathering supplies and skills and knowledge that will help you to be more self-reliant and well if there's no electricity, no water comes out of the tap when you turn it on, there are no stores to go to get things. You have to rely on only the food in your pantry for an extended period of time. These are things that we have been ramping up our efforts in. I have also been gathering together information and getting it into a physical form. In the event that, like, the internet doesn't exist, you're not going to be able to go and look things up. We are also continuing to do things to take care of our own health. I do not have very much trust in the medical industrial complex of the United States, and I feel that way based on my lived experience of it, and I have watched it get drastically worse as time has gone by, and I expect that to continue. The medical people are really great. If you are in an accident or you have certain types of things, they can help you, they can fix you, they can save your life. But for everything else, all of this stuff with the prescription drugs and the vaccinations and all of these chemical so-called technologically wondrous things that they offer. I don't have trust in that, and I would prefer not to place my health into the hands of these people working in this institution the way that it's currently set up, because I think it's been completely taken over by corporations, and I do not have good feelings towards their motivations and agendas. So I think that it's more important for me to do what I can to be healthy and not rely or expect help from that quarter. So eating healthy as I possibly can, developing my self-discipline towards not consuming all of the highly addictive, massively over-processed, sugar-laden foods, which has been difficult, but over time it's gotten a lot easier. And I think I owe it to myself, to do that. I am active. Dave and I do something active every day. It's more difficult for Dave due to his health issues, but even he, being in chronic pain with like lots of associated issues, he makes it a point to go and exercise every day, and he is an inspiration to me. I am in relatively good shape. I'm getting older, so things don't work as good as they used to, but if he can muster up the ability to do that, even in his condition, and I know better than anyone how it is for him, and it's pretty bad. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we don't share or show on this channel, but it's bad, and it affects every moment of his life, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and he's getting zero assistance from those medical people that I told you about. In fact, in our effort to try to get help from them, the things they were doing to him and trying to force him to do were making his life worse. It was like torture, and that's why we have kind of cut our ties with all of that. And it's a big reason why we go to Mexico, because there he can get what he needs to make his life better without any problem. And it's really sad and pathetic that here in the United States, our system has been just diminished and turned into a nightmare that it is. Anyway, I digress. We are active every day. I've shown myself doing things like push-ups on this channel in videos, and that's not just a one-time deal that I'm filming to show y'all. I do that every single day. I feel that it's critical to my well-being and my health. I feel that it's my responsibility to take care of myself. These corporations that are creating these processed foods and stuff, they do not care about you. And our government is in collusion with them. I don't believe for a second that they are for health. Their actions speak much louder than their words. The things that they are doing, the foods that they allow to be distributed in our stores, is evidence that they clearly do not care about our health. They are not doing the job that they were hired to do as far as our government goes. And they are completely in bed with these corporations who, a lot of them are downright nefarious. And the wake-up call needs to be had. People need to realize this. If you don't care and you just want to live hedonistic and bury your head in the sand and live in a fool's paradise, then that's fine. I think everybody should have the freedom to live their life the way that they choose to. I would say so long as you're not harming other people. But collectively, we all build this world that we live in together. So when someone else does something that's extremely harmful to them, and they do it habitually, and it drags them down, and then they have to go to the doctor, you're clogging up that system with all of these sick people who are sick mostly through decisions of their own and their misplaced belief that somehow, things aren't that bad, that no way they would let these corporations feed us poison. They wouldn't let them put poison on the shelf at the store and sell it to you. But I am telling you that the truth is that they do. And I don't know exactly, I mean, you can go back many years. I think this has been going on and getting progressively worse since long before I was even born. But we are at a point now where it is off the charts. It is off the charts bad. The funny thing is we have now this internet, which is this vast resource. It's like having the biggest library that has ever existed at your fingertips. So you have the ability to go and learn and get information on how to better take care of yourself. Know thyself. That's wisdom. And what that means is it is your responsibility to figure out how to have this, how to own it. And people are just completely irresponsible. They're being completely irresponsible about themselves, much less the rest of society. This thing just happened where they had this shooting here in Texas. And I go on the internet and I see all of these people just in vitriol with one another, arguing about whether or not we should be allowed to have guns. That's what they're making it all about. And of course, the media is absolutely one of the most toxic, horrific enterprises on this planet right now also. But people aren't seeing the big picture. You're going to see nothing but an increase in this kind of mental illness being manifested in the environment because our food is toxic. Even the food that's supposed to be real food and it's supposed to be good for you, it's grown on depleted soils. And the only reason that they can grow anything there is because they shower it in chemicals. You've got GMOs. You've got food that is nutritionally deficient, like the vegetables and stuff, the meat. It just doesn't have the nutrient value anymore because of the way that it is being done. Our water is tainted. The products that we buy, the way that they are manufactured is toxic. The components of them are toxic. And this information is kept suppressed. Like, you can go and find it, but you are going to have to do it yourself because you're not going to get it from the government. You're not going to get it from your doctor, who is practically just trained to push prescription medications on you. You are not going to get it from your education. You're certainly not going to get it from the media. I don't know if I already said that, but in absolutely no way. It's completely up to you. And it's going to be hard because there's now an active campaign to suppress this information and to flavor it with the idea that it's nonsense, that the people like me who are saying this to you are conspiracy theorists and we need to put our tinfoil hat on and all of that. I know that I am a smart and intelligent person, and I believe in my ability to think critically. I intentionally seek out the alternate views, and I compare all of that information together. Plus, I add into that my own lived experience. And it is shocking. It is shocking how badly we are being lied to and taken advantage of. And I really think that it's time that people start waking up. And for those who they just are resistant to it for whatever reason and they don't want to hear it, that's fine. I'm done with that. I'm done with those people. They aren't worth the time or the effort at this point. We are past the point of trying to wake up sheep. You know what I mean? I would rather encourage and help wake up those people who have the capacity for it. So that's why I'm saying this stuff. I don't want to go on and on with that. I should make separate videos about that stuff. That's not really the focus of this channel. Maybe it should be. I probably would get demonetized if I start talking too much about that kind of thing. I have another YouTube channel. I consider it my personal channel, and it's under my name. And I haven't been real active over there because I just feel really discouraged about a lot, actually, in trying to put this information out, and having, like, I've done videos in the past over there, and, you know, I get like 11 views. So, like, I don't know, you know, I'm like, is it even worth my time? And I feel like maybe it's better that I just spend the time on myself and getting myself ready and being stronger and more prepared for this world that is unfolding around me. But it's there, and I've been thinking a lot about putting more content over there about these kinds of things. So if you're interested in that, you can go watch over there. Go subscribe to me, and let me know. Let me know if you want me to talk about that stuff, if you want me to share what I have experienced and the information and stuff that I've come across. I would be happy to do that for those who are willing and who want it. Anyway, so Dave and I are doing things to try to be well in our lives. And I want to encourage y'all. I put a little piece, I wrote a couple of paragraphs in the community section on this channel. There's a community tab that you can find up at the top of our main channel page, where I post sometimes pictures or just little notices and stuff, and yeah, that exists. So you can go check it out if you weren't aware of it before. I wrote something over there about prepping and encouraging people that do it now. Whatever you are able to do, buying extra food, buying non-perishable food that you can store for a long time. I think these are wise actions to take. And the more people who do this, who take responsibility for themselves, the better off we're going to be if the wheels fall off the wagon. All of these people that are unprepared, it's going to be a big problem, you know. I don't think that I can predict for sure, you know, exactly when things are going to get so bad. But I've got this really strong feeling that it's going to happen. And I don't think I'm going to get out of this world. You know, if I live a long and natural life, I think that it's going to happen before I exit this world. Maybe I'm wrong, you know, maybe I am wrong, but there's so much data pointing to it. And I just want to say to y'all, if, you know, do it. And think about life without a store to go to buy anything. So that should be your indication on what you need to stock up on. Things that are going to make it so that you can continue to exist and be okay, you know, at least reasonably okay. Maybe have enough, if you can, have enough to share with other people, with these people. Talk to your neighbors and your family and your friends, and encourage them to do it too. Because the more prepared people that we have, the better off we're going to be. All right, so that's kind of I don't know, I hope that's not weird. I hope it's not weird that I have inserted this into the video here, but I wanted to say it. I wanted to share these things with y'all. Because I do care. I do care about this world that we're living in. And I would rather be a force for good and a beacon of light and a lion amongst sheep. And I hope that you would too. All right, that's it. Thank you for listening to me. Bye, y'all.